This course is all about using image trace to make our very own vector files. So what might be helpful for some is to have an understanding of what a vector file is and just why we love them. If you've already got a firm understanding of this, please feel free to jump ahead to the next section on what files can I trace. There are two common categories of image files. One is raster and the other is vector. Both useful, but just used for different things. One could say that we paint with pixels and draw with vectors. Some common raster file types include JPEG, PNG, and GIF or GIF, depending on how you like to say it. Adobe Photoshop tends to be a top choice for photographers and designers working with raster files. Photoshop typically saves as a .psd file. Adobe Illustrator is what we are using today and is one of the most popular vector-based softwares out there. It is often used to create AI, EPS, SVG, and PDF files, all great vector formats. When talking about raster images, we can quickly make things very complicated by talking in depth about pixels and resolutions. They're good to know and they explain how raster works, but they aren't needed for a simple understanding of what raster is. At its core, the term raster means that if you take an image or a photograph that is small and enlarge it, it will become more and more pixelated, or more blurry. Like in the image at the bottom of the screen, we can see the blurring coming in, until it reaches the point where it is unrecognizable. While making raster images a little bigger often isn't a problem, it's not recommended. Unless you are shrinking or cropping an image or photo, you will never have a better looking or more crisp image than the original raster file. Photographs are always raster, and the graphics that you see all over the web are also raster. Even vector images are saved as raster when they need to be uploaded to the web. And while an Illustrator or Photoshop file might be editable, once it's saved as a raster file type, all its layers will be flattened, making edits a lot more difficult. Now vector graphics, on the other hand, are made up of shapes created by awesome math functions that allow them to scale infinitely. Think about that. Infinitely. This means they can be enlarged or shrunk down to any size, over and over and over for whatever project you have, and they will always come out looking perfect. This is why I love vectors. The shapes within vector graphics are made up of points. These can be modified and manipulated as needed, without the artwork becoming pixelated in any way. For this reason, logos should always be vector. You never know how big or how small you might need to make it in the future, so it's always something that needs to be able to scale up or down. It's also great fun to turn your sketches into vector, as they'll have the cleanest lines. You can color and recolor it with ease, and you can make precise corrections and adjustments. For these same reasons, it's also great for hand lettering. One of the best benefits is we can then use our logos, sketches, hand lettering, or whatever it is we create for marketing, poster design, online use, creating a digital comic, anything we can think of really. Please stay with me next to see how we can upload and import our physical work from the real world and get it into Illustrator.